Welcome, bienvenue, willkommen y bienvenidos a la tercera temporada de Párate y Destacate. Yo soy tu anfitriona, Nikki Green. Welcome back to Season 3 of Stand Up and Stand Out. I'm your host, Nikki Green, and we are kicking off an amazing new season filled with some incredible guests. Stand Up and Stand Out is a podcast for those leaving university and heading into the work world. We help those in transition find their purpose so they can enjoy their career without sacrificing their lives. Following nearly 2 decades working in Fortune 500 companies, I want to share my leadership learnings with all of you. Thought leaders are needed in all walks of life, not just business. And we're in a critical time to pivot ourselves and the community around us to build a better future together. This show is the start of your beyond college journey to help you answer the question, I graduated, now what? Let's get ready to listen in to the next episode. All right. Well, welcome back to Stand Up and Stand Out. I'm excited to announce our guest for today, who is Conrad Hall. He is the best-selling author of not 1, not 2, but 6 books on marketing, including 2 international bestsellers, host of Social Media Cheap and Easy, and the founder of the Getting Happy book series. Conrad's marketing titles include The Business Owner's Guide to Social Media, Writing eBooks for Fun and Profit, and The Ultimate Marketing Sin. Inspired by Jack Canfield's Chicken Soup for the Soul series, Conrad has launched the Getting Happy series. Think chicken soup for the 21st century. Each book tells a motivational, inspiring story of encountering a life event, being unhappy about it, and finding your way to getting happy. And with each book in the series goes a workbook for those that need a little helping hand making practical progress. Conrad is also responsible for coaching thousands of local business owners just like you to increase their revenue, their customer count, and their free time. Using relationships as the foundation for marketing, Conrad has helped business owners implement loyalty programs to foster customer loyalty and retention. He has used local and interstate joint ventures to make businesses more resilient and diversified. And he built referral programs that require owners to hire new staff and even open new locations. He has learned from experts like Dan Kennedy, Mark Hall, and John Ford, and all that marketing comes down to relationships. It's the rapport you build with a person, not a prospect, that opens the door to doing business together. Thanks so much for joining us, Conrad. We are so happy to have you.
I am thrilled to be here, Nikki.
Well, we met on the famed Podapalooza that I did back in December, where so many of us kind of jumped in there. We met lots of other people interested in podcasting, either as guests or as hosts or both, and had a really crazy fun day. But it was so jam-packed, we had to spill over a little bit into January. So happy
Yes,
New
we
Year.
did.
You had a good holiday. So there was a huge amount of information in that bio, but I'm sure there's even more behind that story. So to kick us off, why don't you tell us a little bit about your origin story and how you got to do all the wonderful things you're doing now?
Wow. Okay. Partly because of the audience you have, millennials, people making transitions. I'll go back farther than I usually do and let your audience know I grew up being the third child in a family with 2 children, and I had parents who made sure I knew my position. So whatever it was I wanted to do, their answer was no, including when I asked to go live with other relatives and made the point, clearly you don't want me, let me go, and their answer was still no. I now stand on the other side of 55. I just turned 55 in December. And I would say to anybody in your audience who's currently struggling and perhaps can't quite see the light at the end of the tunnel, well, I'm on the other side of the tunnel. Trust me, there's a way out. And it might take trying a couple of different things. When I got out of high school, I really had nothing to do. So I joined the military. Yay! And I refer to it as having done time there. Not that it's completely like prison, but it is very structured. And then when I got out of the military, I went back to construction, and I did a lot of different things in construction. So I'm a fully qualified carpenter and a welder. And I've done residential, mid-rise, high-rise, building hospitals and schools, and I've done a lot of residential renovations. Ironically, while I was doing all that stuff, I was on the weekends copywriting, only I had no idea what I was doing. Friends would talk to me, and I've had my own business pretty much since I was 19. Even when I was in the military, I would go over to people's houses and do little renovations and stuff like that. So friends would ask me, hey, could you help me with this ad or, this sort of thing? And I just go, sure, great, because it was an opportunity just to do something different other than swing a hammer, run a saw. So I was doing it on weekends just to relax. And then in 2007, I looked around and went, I'm 40 years old and I'm one of the young guys on the construction site. I do not want to be here in another 20 years. And I just went, that's it, I'm done. And I quit construction and I went down to Delray Beach, Florida, and attended an event with a group called American Writers and Artists, where I discovered that copywriting is a job. Hey, a really good paying job.
A very good job. Yes, exactly. Getting better by the minute these days.
So I'm sitting there, I'm in a room with maybe 500, 550 people in it, and everybody's listening to how great copywriting, and I guarantee I am the only person in that room sitting there getting more and more angry, thinking of all the years I've just spent writing copy for people and doing it as a relaxation tool. So I walked out very definitely motivated. I went through the courses and the materials that American Writers and Artists offers, did a lot of freelance work for everybody from, of course, his name flies out of my head. He's down in Florida and he's an anti-aging expert. He's a medical doctor. And then there's another fellow in the Chicago area who owns a mechanic shop, and all he works on is big trucks.
But that's so amazing, and such a skill that you did, on your spare time that you thought was going to be just something relaxing that you could actually turn into, a full business. And so many people now kind of use the buzzword of side hustles and things like that. But that's exactly what it is. It's not new. Many of us have been doing it for a long time. You start something on the weekends and it grows into something even more.
Yeah, people have been doing it, I guarantee, at least since World War II. And they're probably doing it long before that. You have a job, and it's the pays the bills job. So you go to work and you do that, and maybe you like it, maybe no. But then you find something on the side, and I've met people who do wood carvings, or they do various craft kind of things. There was a lady I met once, and she's really into knitting, and she started doing these little church fairs and school fundraisers and stuff. And the demand for the things that she would knit and that she would make just became so big she couldn't handle it. She actually went and purchased, I don't remember if she got 2 or 3 knitting machines. And she learned how to use them. And then now when you're running a knitting machine, you can only run one at a time. So she actually got another person to come work with her to run the other knitting machine. And it was, produce pot holders and oven mitts and all kinds of, scarves and all kinds of various knit stuff. As far as I know, never gave up her main job, but turned this knitting thing into something that was giving her $2,000 or $3,000 extra dollars a month, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty amazing, right? And then you can do something else with it, whatever else is your hobby. If you want to travel whenever we get to travel again, or you like to read, and then you can buy a bunch of books. So many opportunities. Absolutely.
It's whatever it is that you do, there are lots of other people who like doing what you do too. My parents.
Yes, you'd be amazed at the niche.
My parents were into doing antiques and collectibles and stuff. On the top of hydro poles, there are these glass blobs, and they're insulators. The wire runs through that glass to insulate it from the pole and from the other wires. Well, apparently there's a large enough variety of these glass blobs that people actually collect them.
It's unique enough.
It's unique
it's
enough.
interesting. And nowadays we've got all these NFTs and cryptocurrency and all this new stuff coming out, which, probably like at the time when these things came out, I was like, oh, it's just, something kind of useful. But you never know where things are going to take a turn and where that's going to become a specialty item for someone who's just really likes it, right?
And that's probably the best advice, the key thing to keep in mind. The whole idea, you never know. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, listen. Because when you're presented with an opportunity, you want to be aware. You want to educate yourself about things that are happening around you. When you're presented with an opportunity, now you have a very small foundation maybe, but you have a foundation of knowledge where you can look at it and go, yeah, not quite, not for me. Or, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, that I absolutely love it. Yeah, I just read a study recently actually that said within 10 years, 50% of the jobs are going to be completely new. Like they don't even exist in concept right now.
Yeah.
And so it's really tough to say exactly how things are going to evolve, which is why we build these foundations in our career, right? Is you start with sort of one thing, like for you, the military, which then gives you side jobs and other skills that you then build on in construction and copywriting, two things that you're like, maybe it doesn't go together. But you don't know until you keep building and building upon all those things. So how did you end up getting all the way to writing so many books?
Being just obnoxious enough.
Perfect.
When I was at the event with American Writers and Artists, a very well-established, very popular copywriter named Bob Bly announced that he was looking for people to write books for him.
Huh.
And yeah, one of the things he said is, very often when this kind of call goes out, somebody gets swamped. And what you want to do is you actually want to wait 5 or 6 weeks and then reach out. So I did. And he went, yeah, I've handed out all the assignments. How could you?
But you should have known I was coming.
I'm following your advice.
Perfect.
So I wrote back and I said, okay, that's cool. But what I'm going to do is now I'm going to write you every week. And every week I'm going to write to you and I'm going to ask if you have another book assignment. And sure enough, December 31st of 2007, Bob sends me an email and says, okay, I have one. Would you like to write it? Sure. Yeah, let's go. He says, okay. The first book you're going to write is a book about how to write books.
Done.
Bob, don't you think I should have maybe written one or two before I write that book? Nah, you'll be fine. So he gives me an outline, and it turns out, so to anybody who's thinking about being an author, get this clear in your head. Writing the book is the easy part. Selling the sucker is the part that's hard. And that is your responsibility as the author. Don't be expecting a publisher to do it for you. So probably 70-80% of the book, and I keep looking this way because I have the cover mounted on the wall. About 70-80% of the book is actually how to sell it. So doing keyword research to make sure you're using the words that people already use to talk about your topic. Introducing proprietary language. So yes, you have the keywords, but then you introduce language that's unique to you so that you can build a tribe and people feel included because they know your inner circle language. And so it goes through the whole thing. And ironically, that first book just went and became an international bestseller in maybe 7 months.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it sold so well around 8 or 9 months after I wrote it, because at the time, ebooks did not require an ISBN. So somebody else published an ebook with the exact same title, Writing Ebooks for Fun and Profit, which actually only served to just keep driving more sales. To this day, it's pretty much the best-selling book Bob has ever published. So that's a feather in my cap. That's a point of pride. And then
where were you last year when I was writing my book, Conrad? I didn't know this, and I definitely learned it the hard way. First of all, as I was publishing, I got COVID, so I was down for the first 2 weeks. I was trying to get it.
First rule about writing a book: stay healthy.
Yeah. And so now as I'm getting ready to push my second book out this year, I'm definitely learning all of these marketing lessons from the tough work of last year, slaving through it.
Yeah, there is a lot to it. The first 5 books I wrote and published with Bob. Fantastic experience. Then I wrote The Ultimate Marketing Sin, which I self-published. And The Ultimate Marketing Sin is a lead generator book. Now, it's not a sales letter in disguise. Those books, customers are not stupid. There is no disguise good enough to hide the fact that what you've actually written is a sales letter. So this book it talks about, and the ultimate marketing sin is being boring. When you hear the gurus who talk about video marketing and they say, oh, keep your videos shorter than 2 minutes. Absolutely no more than 3 or 4. Yeah, it isn't because people have short attention spans. It's because your videos suck. So we did that one. It probably would be around the bestseller status, except it never won. If customers were not asking for, I don't know, yellow paint, would you buy 500 gallons of yellow paint to keep in your store? No. Yeah. Wait until somebody asks for yellow paint before you have it, or keep a small amount around. So people were very, very pleased when I came through and said, do you have to do social media? No. Can it be extremely useful and profitable? Yes. If you use it correctly.
Liquidless laundry detergent? As you know, plastic is a huge problem. Only 9% get recycled. Even if you put your jug in a bin, 25% gets declined from cross-contamination. If plastic does get recycled, it can only be reused twice. The facts don't lie. It's time to stop using plastic. Did you know that liquid detergent is up to 90% water? Earthbreeze created dehydrated detergent. Our Eco Sheets easily dissolve in hot or cold water with the same powerful clean you're used to. Our packaging is biodegradable cardboard and ink. Eco-friendly options are usually expensive. Eco-sheets are affordable. That way, everyone can make a difference. Laundry detergent is one of the most requested items at homeless shelters. With every package, we donate 10 loads of detergent. You get to choose who you donate to. We also donate a portion of our revenue to the planet. There is no reason not to switch. Subscribe and receive it exactly when you need it. No contracts, cancel anytime. We even offset all of our carbon emissions. This means your deliveries are carbon neutral. You can stay safe and order right from your home. Eco Sheets are vegan and cruelty-free, dye-free, paraben-free, and a fragrance-free option, and sensitive to the most delicate skin. There are already thousands of 5-star reviews, and we offer a satisfaction guarantee. If you have any issues, we will refund you. So why not give Eco Sheets a try? Click below or visit earthbreeze.com.
What are you waiting for? Why haven't you ordered?
Click below to try.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really good lesson because this generation too has grown up with it as a personal tool, right? And they think immediately, like if they're going to try to have some kind of business, especially their own, maybe freelancing or something, that they have to go into social media and that's the only way they can possibly reach people.
But a really important point to keep in mind is the whole name of that media is social media.
Mm-hmm.
It is not come by my crap media. So if you're going to do something, you need to be presenting people with something they want. Because something to keep in mind, most businesses pull their customer base from within 1 mile of their location. Okay, businesses, somebody located in Chicago is probably doing no business at all with somebody next door in Indiana, let alone Texas or England or Japan. Most customers come from within 1 mile of where you are, and especially a hair salon. You'd have to be pretty good to get somebody to fly in from Jakarta just to come to your hair salon. Or somebody from South Africa is going to fly into your hair salon. I'm going to guess no.
Well, and I think that relevance is important, even if you have some sort of online business technically you could get a customer from anywhere in the globe, but that's why you do have to be more focused in what exactly is your niche and where do you start with your network and sphere of influence before you just cast this super wide net of, hey, anybody on the internet, come check out what I've got, right? And then you can gradually build out from there.
So there was what was it called? The social network about Mark Zuckerberg founding Facebook? And at one point, somebody says to the Mark Zuckerberg character that, no, the internet is written in pen. No, the internet is written in the biggest, blackest permanent marker you can imagine. Nothing ever goes away. But that's a good thing. Because you do start with your friends and the people that you know. And, you might have relatives in California or in Florida or wherever who can help you spread the word that way. But the material you put onto your website is always there. So as you grow, the ability for somebody from anywhere in the world to find you is pre-built into the internet. Now, we could have like a 6-day conversation about keywords and optimization and all that kind of stuff. So like anything, if you want to succeed, there is work to be done. Please, especially for your audience who are, they're coming out of university, they're looking for their first job. Anything that somebody comes to you and says, hey, we have it all done for you. Just pay us. Yeah. I'm going to suggest that you think 4 times before you say yes to that kind of offer. Because, if it were that easy, there would be no 99% and 1%. Everybody would just pay somebody else to make them rich.
Well, it's like we said, it's the layers that you have to build upon. And sometimes you have to do it yourself in order to know even maybe I'm actually really good at this, like copywriting. You didn't even really know, just sort of like, hey, I'm going to fall into this. And then it leads you to the next thing. if you outsource everything from the very beginning too, you won't have a chance to even get good at it. And you don't know what you're paying for. You don't know what the value of those services are. So even though, and I talk honestly about the lack of marketing for my first book, because it taught me an important lesson of what is the value of that, and am I going to be good at it or not? So is it something I should ask for help and get assistance on? And that can apply to a lot of things in a business or finding a job at a company too, right? There's lots you need to learn there.
There's no need for you to become the best copywriter or the best web designer or the best of anything. But you do need to learn what it is, because until you understand what's involved in doing that work, even just at a beginner level, you have no way of knowing if someone is delivering on what they said they would deliver. You have no way of judging their work. And wow, that's a very dangerous place to be, because some copywriters, like me, I don't charge $30-$40 an hour for my time. You can pay an awful lot of money to a copywriter. And before you do, you absolutely want to be able to have an intelligent conversation with that copywriter so that they know they need to deliver on what they're putting together.
Absolutely. It's such an important lesson before, especially when you're starting out too. You don't always have a lot of money. So, what you are going to spend and invest that in, it needs to make sense, and it needs to really grow your business or give you something that, you couldn't possibly at least try to do yourself to get you started. So
the very first person you hire should be somebody to clean your house, not a secretary, not a scheduler, you want somebody to clean your house, because that frees you up from doing laundry, from cooking your meals, from doing the cleaning around the house. And it sounds kind of decadent, and okay, maybe it is, but if you don't have to spend the time cooking your lunch, if you don't have to invest the 2 hours it takes out of the week to do laundry, and you never have to worry about cleaning your bathroom or the floors in your home, that frees up an incredible amount of time so that you can focus on your work. And then the second person you hire is someone to do scheduling. You get somebody to look after your schedule so that you don't have to worry about booking an appointment. Somebody else is doing that for you. Now, does that have to be a person? With the advent of services like Calendly, that might serve you well for quite a while.
Exactly. Yeah, I find a person has a better guidelines for you too. It's like sometimes you'll be like, oh, okay, I can take another call. Oh, okay, I'll get up a little bit earlier. Okay, I'll stay a little bit later. And we're much more passive with like our time, and we end up taking more stuff than we should, when in fact, especially when we have these types of creative jobs where you're writing and you need to be somewhat focused, you can't context switch like that, and you really need that dedicated time to do those things. And I'm sure anyone during the pandemic would have loved someone to clean that house, because the more time we spend here, especially now of us working at home, it becomes quite messy. And I find it's really stressful for me to see the laundry, to see the dishes. It creates a chaos and a stress, because I feel like I should be doing those things, and it's really easy to go get distracted doing them. And honestly, if you think about how much we're paying on DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever to have food delivered because you're in a rush, that's probably not much more once you add it all up to
absolutely
someone come and do a broader sweep of the house itself. Well, time is flying by, Conrad. I can't believe how quickly this conversation has gone. And I know there's so much more wisdom for you to share. I'm sure we can bring you back for another episode another time. In the meantime, why don't you tell our audience where we can find you and where your books are located, and we'll also put all the details in our show notes.
The easiest place to locate me is the website for the series, Getting Happy. So it's, this is a hard one. Try to remember this, gettinghappyseries.com. That's a really tough URL. So that's the easiest place to find me. If you want to follow me on Twitter for the very little tiny bit that I put on Twitter, it's at Conrad Author. I try as much as possible when it comes to the social media universe to be contributing quality content. I kind of hope that I'm leading by example.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Conrad. It was wonderful learning a little bit about your story. I know you have more to tell. I can't wait to read some of the books and learn more about the things that I was definitely lacking in my book, which is learning to do a bit better marketing this second time around when I launched the second one this year. So thank you so much for joining us. And you guys can catch everything in our show notes at www.greenchameleoncollective.com/podcast. See you next time, guys. Well, another awesome show in the books. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed making it. For video outtakes of the show, don't forget to catch us on TikTok, You Don't Stop, at Nikki Green 678. The full-length shows are available on all the podcast platforms, now including Amazon Music, Stitcher, and Good Pods. The full video is available on Nikki's YouTube channel, and links to all of our social media, including info about our guests, is available in our show notes and on our website at www.greenchameleoncollective.com/podcast. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.